So bulking, a key component in building muscle. Like if you're not bulking, the chances of you actually building muscle are very, very small. And that's when you see all those guys, you know, going to the gym and trying to get some muscle but not succeeding. And that's because they are not bulking. And with bulking I mean eating more calories than you actually need. So this is the process where your body has actually like more calories so it can use it on building muscle. Like if you're not in a caloric surplus, you are not building any muscle because your body just doesn't have the right calories left to build any muscle, you know? It has to focus on maintaining its current body. So in this full guide, we'll actually make sure you get all the right information you need to start bulking and to start getting some real muscle, you know? Stop wasting your time. So let's dive into it. Bulking, why do you need it? Why it's important? As you may know, if you don't bulk, the chances of you building muscle are very slim. And I've been going to the gym for 10 years now, and I could have used my time a lot better if I actually used all this knowledge, which I will present to you in this presentation. So if you use this knowledge, you can actually make a lot more progress. So in the picture on the left, you basically see me at age 21, 22, and I was going to the gym, but I just didn't feel like actually doing a diet because yeah, I was just a bit lazy, I guess. And I have an okay body here, but you know, I could have made a lot more progress. And in the picture on the right, you actually see me like maximizing my gain potential in the gym with my workouts, but also in my diet. It's very, very important that you actually bulk to start building some fucking muscle and actually stick to a diet. And in this video, I will give you all the information you need to actually maximize your gains in the gym. And I really wish I had this information back in the days. So yeah, let's dive into it because there is a lot more gain potential if you actually get track of your diet. So a few nutrition tips for bulking. The first thing you need to make sure you do is basically calculate your calories. So this is your calorie maintenance. So the amount of calories your body needs to stay at the same level basically. And the easiest way to do that is just go to internet and just search calorie calculator and just take one. And basically just add 500 calories on top of that. So, and that's the amount of calories you are eating every day consistently. Especially the last part is important, consistently. So if you're just eating, one day you're eating 1500 and the other day you're eating 3000, that's not something you want. So let's go into macronutrients then. So protein is basically the most important macronutrient. And like an average okay thing I would say is like just take 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for example, I am currently weighing around 88 kilos. I don't exactly know how much pound that is. I think around 190. So I would have to eat like 190 grams of protein. And the best thing you want to do is like spread this protein out around the day. So for example, what I do, I'm currently eating a bit more protein, and I will explain to you, I'm currently eating 250 proteins. And the reason for that is because when you are eating less protein than you actually need, you leave potential gains. So it is very important that you eat the right amount of protein. And it's better to eat a bit more protein because there are not really any negative side effects than to leave potential gains. So therefore, eat enough protein. So when you want to spread this protein out, so I'm eating 250 protein each day. So I spread this out around 5 meals each day. So I eat around about 50 grams of protein in each meal. So, and therefore, because there is a thing called, so for example, you cannot eat all your protein in one day because your body just won't take all that protein. It won't use all that protein. It will just shit out the rest of those proteins you don't need. So therefore, it's best to go take about 50, just spread it out over your day. Eat clean nutrition. And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you now. Eat clean nutrition. And clean nutrition is food which actually grows in nature, or single ingredient foods. So for example, you're in the supermarket and you just check the ingredient list of your food. make sure you are not eating foods which have more than 3 ingredients, because most of the time that's just man-made food in a factory, and it consists of crazy chemicals you don't want in your body, because your body isn't gonna grow off those chemicals. For example, like McDonald's or a chocolate bar or a milkshake. Do you really think your body is gonna grow on that fucking shit? Of course not. Do you really think your ancestors would be eating McDonald's, would be eating a Happy Meal, or would be eating like some kind of chocolate bar? Of course not. So you need to make sure you eat clean, nutritious foods, because they have the most nutrients in them. These are the foods your body is actually able to use for muscle growth. But eating clean is hard, because oftentimes people are so addicted to that stuff, you know, those McDonald's meals, and oftentimes like eating clean is a lot. The volume of clean nutritious food is much higher. For example, like if you have one bag of M&Ms, like 500 grams, it's almost 2000 calories, but the volume is low, it's only 500 grams. But if you have 500 grams of potatoes, it's only 300 calories. I don't know exactly, but it's much less. So the volume of clean nutritious foods is much higher, and therefore it's quite hard to actually eat everything clean. But I am currently eating 3800 calories, and I don't really have problems with this. I don't really have problems with eating a lot, because I think my belly is just like really big. But one way to tackle this, because I know a lot of guys struggle with this, because they have to kind of force feed themselves into eating more than they actually like. And that sometimes it's a thing. Sometimes you should accept that, because to be honest, when you are bulking, you sometimes need to force feed yourself past the point where you don't want to eat anymore, because you don't feel like eating anymore, you know? So one way to kind of tackle this is eat your food as quick as possible, because oftentimes it takes around 20 minutes for yourself to get full, to get the feeling you're saturated and full. Therefore, if you eat everything in just 10 minutes, you don't even feel like that full. But if you are eating really, really slow, you actually get that like saturated feeling, that feeling of bloatiness. You don't want that. Just eat quick if you struggle with this. Increase your calories if necessary. So I'm currently bulking for 2 months now, and I haven't really done this because I'm still growing in my weight every time. But sometimes you need to increase your calories a bit, especially when you stop growing. So the right way to do this is by weighing yourself every day after you have waken up, after you went to the toilet to get everything out, you know. So weigh yourself every day and take the average of 7 days and write it down. The average of the week. And the reason for this is because if you're just weighing yourself once a week, your weight is very prone to fluctuate. Because one day you will just weigh 1 kilo more, and one day you will just weigh 1 kilo less because of moisture in your body, because of the thing you have eaten. So weigh yourself every day and then take the average of 7 days, and then just look if you're like basically stagnating for 2 or 3 weeks. It might be time to increase your calories a bit. Just 100 calories more. Just eat 100 calories more. See what happens for 2-3 weeks. And if you're still not growing, just do 100 more. But most of the time, 500 calories on top of your maintenance is more than enough. So yeah, eat 1 hour before training. Don't eat right before training. So leave 1 hour in between. The reason why, if you are eating right before your workout, your body basically uses all its energy to process those foods, right? So if you're if you have just ate and you go to the gym, your body is not focused on actually using that power. Your body is focused on processing that food. So Another thing is eat every 3 hours. I see this so much with guys doing this intermittent fasting thing, and I think it's very good for your focus, but it's not that good for building muscle. Let me explain. If you're doing the intermittent fasting and you don't eat until 12 that day, for example, you have done an intensive workout the day before and you start eating again the next day at 12. You're leaving such a big window, almost 12, maybe even more hours in between. But your body actually needs nutrients to grow. And therefore it's just the best to like spread your meals and make sure you eat every 3 hours. So your body has the right nutrients every time. And I know there are some like small ways around that with intermittent fasting. If you're interested in this, there are some small ways around this with like eating a protein shake just before you wake up, after you wake up of course, and then eat nothing. But I personally don't like to do it, especially when you are bulking. Fuck that. If you are bulking and doing intermittent fasting, fuck that, because you start eating at 12 you don't eat in the morning and you start eating at 12 and then you have to eat 4,000 calories in a window of 8 hours. That's fucking madness, guys. That's not possible. I don't think that's healthy for your belly, and just fuck that. I think it might be better if you do it in a cut. Okay, let's go on. You need to make sure you drink at least 3 liters of water every day. Stay hydrated, especially when you like to build some muscle. Let's go on. So you have got some kind of an idea of what I eat in a day. So the first meal is my favorite one of the days. Basically 100 grams of oatmeal with protein powder and water. Don't take, if you can take milk, but it's more fat. And then I put some additional ingredients in there like raisins, peanut butter, an apple, and I take an egg on the side. Then my second meal of the day is basically 100 grams of spaghetti or some kind of other carb sauce like couscous. And then I do some vegetable like leek, chicken thighs, and some corn with it. And my third meal is like 2 wraps and with salad, hummus, cucumber, tomatoes, and chicken. And this is a very, very nice one. Just bake the chicken and yeah. My fourth meal of the day is sweet potato or some other carb sauce like spaghetti, couscous, whatever you want. Some vegetable, for example broccoli, and an egg. And this is basically, yeah. And my fifth meal of the day after my workout, because I always go in the evening, is basically some soft cheese. And if you don't know what this is basically some kind of a yogurt, a bit thicker with more protein, and some muesli, peanuts, and some fruit in there. So, and basically the picture on the right is basically what I eat in the morning, like this oats with protein powder. And yeah, try to avoid eating bread, because I know so many guys are eating like 10 pieces of bread or maybe even more. I used to eat 16 pieces of bread every day. Like, try to avoid that. Try to eat real foods, because also bread most of the time is like a bit processed. So you need a system, because a system is the way to stay consistent. So consistency in the fact that you are eating the right amount of calories you need, and you keep eating this every day. You don't fluctuate. You don't want to eat 3,000 calories one day and 1,500 calories the other day. You want to be consistent, and the way to be consistent is to have a system. So why is inconsistency bad? So let me explain to you. Let me compare it with a car. So if you have a car and you are constantly braking, accelerating, braking, accelerating, do you think that's actually efficient for its gas use? I don't think so. I don't think it's good for the car either. it's not efficient for its gas. You use a lot more gas, and it won't be very effective. So this is the same with your body. Like if you're constantly, one day you're eating more, one day you're eating less, you're constantly fluctuating in your calories, it's not very efficient. It's not an efficient way of building any muscle. So consistency is fucking key with everything. So you need to choose a system. So there are certain systems which might work for you or which might not. So one system, for example, is just to calculate your calories. Just eat whatever you want and calculate your calories afterwards with some kind of an app like MyFitnessPal. And I personally don't like to do this because I don't want to go through the hassle of actually putting in every ingredient in there. It's a lot. It's not a lot of work, but I just don't like to do it. I personally have a system where I just plan out every meal I eat, and I can make certain variations in the vegetables and the carb sources. And basically, I will eat the same in the morning and before I go to bed. So this is the system I really like to choose. There might be another system which you can do, especially when you live with your parents, and that's like a meal prep. So when you live with your parents, and I know a lot of you guys do, just eat whatever your family is cooking. Unless they are fucking taking home McDonald's every day or each week, you know? Don't eat that fucking shit. But another great way to do this is actually by doing a meal prep. So eat whatever your parents are eating. Eat the same in the morning. Eat the same before you go to bed. But have a kind of meal prep meal in there. So this is an additional warm meal which you eat before or after you have just eaten dinner with your parents. So this might be some spaghetti with vegetables and chicken breast. So a meal prep is basically you cook once a week or once every 2 weeks. And you basically prepare all those meals for 2 or 1 week. So this is the thing I really like to do. I prep all my meals. I only cook once a week, and the reason for that is that I don't want to be in the kitchen every day. I'm not a woman, you know. So this way I save a lot of time. You know, I save a lot of time, and I just basically have to take the food out of the fridge, you know, make sure, and I have to take the food out of the fridge and basically put it in the microwave, and that's it. And I don't really see the difference with freshly made food and meal prep food. Maybe because I'm a trained meal prepper, I don't see the difference anymore, but yeah, you need a system. So what about your workout? You know, nutrition is another thing, but do I need to change my workout? And for a lot of the time, I didn't really change my workout when I went into a bulk. I just did the same workout, but I think there might be something in changing your workout a bit when you go through a bulk. So for example, I did some research, and they say it is very good to do more compound movements when gaining muscle. And compound movements are basically big movements when you use multiple muscles. For example, a bench press is a compound movement because you use your triceps, you use your shoulders a bit, your front delts, and you use your chest. And for example, a squat, a military press, and any kind of row movement for your back. So either from the top or basically from the front. So yeah, and they say that isolations is more for shape and muscle, and I can agree. So what I used to do is just do a lot of isolations also when I was bulking. But yeah, compound movements for gaining muscle, guys. So when you do compound movements, rest 3 to 5 minutes. And isolations 1 to 2 minutes. There is not something as resting too long. That's just a hoax. It's a psyop. But the thing is, when you are resting too long, it will take you too long of a time to stay in the gym. You don't want to be in the gym for 2 hours. That's not something you want. That's not a consistent pattern. You can't go to the gym every day and expect to train for three hours. You know, it's not something you want. So one way to take your workout, especially when gaining muscle, is doing a 3 times a week, full body workout, and just leave 1 day in between, just because you need 1 rest day, of course. So 3 times a week, full body workout, compound movements. And you want to make sure your workout is around 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Don't take any longer. And progressive overload is key. So progressive overload is the thing where you basically increase your weight every time you go to the gym. So this is very important. Otherwise your muscles aren't growing. This is the same thing with everything in life, actually. If you're not like increasing your level of doing something, you are not growing. So for example, 1 week you will do the bench press and you will do 100 kilos. The other week, you will do 105 kilos. But another way to do this is just by increasing your reps as well. So 1 week you will be doing 10 reps of 100 kilos. The other week you will do 11 reps. So progressive overload. Your muscles need to adapt to the new weight, and therefore they need to get stronger. Otherwise you will struggle. And that way your body knows, oh wait, I need to build my muscle because I need to make sure I can push this weight. Because my host needs this. Yeah, and the way to keep a progressive overload is basically to keep a workout log. So just to give you an example, this is the workout log I am using, and I basically write down my records every day, every time I go to the gym. You basically, like, you will see here, like standing leg curl, 35 kilo 10 times, seated leg curl, 65 kilo 12 times, and I try to increase that to 13 times or 14 times, 15 times, and then I have basically reached a limit, and then I increase the weight and I go back to 10 times again, then 11 times. I hope you understand. And yeah, minimize cardio, guys. Minimize cardio, especially when you are on a bulk, and especially high intensive cardio. So high intensive, so the reason why you want to minimize cardio is because cardio uses a lot of energy, a lot of muscle building potential, and especially high intensive. So like you need to do, if you want to do cardio, and I suggest you do cardio, by the way, low intensity cardio. Low intensity is basically, or you go for a bike or a run or a walk, something like this, which doesn't take a lot of energy but is somewhat hard. And high intensity might be a spar or something like a football training, or something like a boot camp workout. So what about supplements? Supplements can be really useful, but if you don't have the money for supplements, don't worry. I think it's a very good investment to make if you actually like have the money. I take all the supplements which I suggest here. So therefore, there are a few fundamental supplements which actually work, which have actually been proven. But a lot of supplements are basically marketing scams to make more money, to take your money. You know, they want to take your money. So don't get taken away by all those like nice promises of like, if you take this supplement you will get more muscle, you will lose more fat. There are a few fundamentals which are actually quite basic, which actually work and which have been proven, and the first of which is protein powder. Of course, everybody knows it, and there are a few sources of protein powder. There's like isolation, which is like basically high quality. And you've got like also normal ones. I just take the normal ones. I don't want to really spend more money on isolation. And make sure you eat animal protein, because you can also eat like a protein from like chickpeas or other sources of vegetables and nuts, but those protein sources are inferior. They are not that good. They are okay, but they are not that good, not better than animal protein. So protein powder is basically for muscle recovery. Then we have got creatine, which is a very, very good one. Creatine increases your strength in the gym, and that's a very nice feeling. And it also increases the size of your muscles, because they will hold more moisture actually. So, and you can use caffeine pills, basically caffeine pills, because they will increase your energy. So, and when you have more energy, you can basically put out more strength in the gym, and therefore you will increase your chances of progressively overloading the weight. So some additions to your diet is vitamin D3 and 10,000 IU. So this is basically something, vitamin D3 is basically in the sun. It's very healthy for you, and some omega-3 fish oils. Because, you know, not a lot of people are eating enough fish these days, and therefore fish oil is really good addition to your diet. So a few additional tips which I can give you, which are very, very important, especially the first one. The first one is basically get enough sleep, minimum of 9 hours. So in this modern society, it's just almost normal to sleep 4, 5, 6 hours. But that's just fucking crazy, because if you do that, you will ruin your potential gains. So without sleeping a minimum of 9 hours, it is very, very hard to build any muscle, because the time when you sleep, that's the time when your body actually recovers your muscle. But so when you are not sleeping enough, you will also have less strength in general in the gym. You will really struggle in the gym with your strength. Therefore, you need more strength to progressively overload your muscles. So make sure you sleep at least 9 hours. Like, if you don't have your sleep in order right now, you need to make sure you do, because it is the basic fundamental of everything in life. Not only your workout, but also your normal work in daily life, your overall happiness in life, actually. Because if you're not sleeping enough, it will suppress your happiness, basically. But that's a topic for another discussion. Another way to go is boost your testosterone, because it's a very important thing for muscle building. So those guys which are actually on steroids and stuff like this are using, they use extra testosterone. And I haven't looked into this because I am just natural, but they basically use additional testosterone to increase their muscle building capacity. But there are a lot of ways to actually boost your testosterone naturally. And to be honest, I really haven't looked into this a lot, and I will in the future. So I cannot give you any additional tips on that. But I know some YouTubers who are really focused on this, or you can just research it online, like how to boost your testosterone. And it's so important as a man for your muscle building capacities, but also for your, energy to do everything, for your drive, to achieve anything in life, basically. To be honest, if you are bulking, you will look much less muscular, because you have a lot more fat on top of your body, and because you are bulking, you will increase your fat, and that's a normal thing about bulking. But yeah, you need to accept this, and just the look of your body, it looks less muscular, but that doesn't mean that you are less muscular, of course. It's just the look of it at the moment. But when you're cutting again, you will look much better, I promise you. And yeah, basically, the last tip I want to give you is stick to your diet. I know it's very hard, especially when you don't have a system, but make sure you are consistently eating the right amount of calories, Stay consistent, brothers. Spartans, prepare for glory.